One of the questions I've been getting more than anything is how to navigate and invest successfully through a recession. It's no surprise that we are anticipating a recession in 2023 of the likes not seen since the financial crisis in 2008. Yes, we had an official recession during the pandemic period, but other than that, we have had about 14 years of powerful inflated growth in the global economies, and now we're ready for a natural correction. And anybody who understands the normal flows of the boom and bust cycle will understand that this is all normal and healthy. If you're new to crypto, if you're new to investing, this recession can shake you out, and if you're not careful and do not follow what is a very simple yet can be somewhat difficult for people framework, you could be in a little bit of bother. So in this video, I'm going to break down my best tips for how to not just navigate a recession, but actually thrive throughout a recession as well. Let's understand what is the difference between a recession and a boom market. In a boom market, governments, and particularly the Fed and central bankers, are on your side. The economies are growing, money is being printed, monetary policy is loose, quantitative easing is happening. Everything is easy, and if you put that into the context of crypto, in a bull market, everything is green. Wherever you put your money, the next day it's green, the next month it's green, you're happy, your portfolio is always green, and you feel like you are an untouchable investor. And here's the reality. If any of you have started investing in any asset class, whether it's stocks, whether it's crypto, whether it's real estate, after 2010 roughly, after the financial crisis of 2008-2010 period, then you've been in a bubble. You have only experienced a true bull market outside of the pandemic, which was quickly followed by powerful quantitative easing and therefore another bull cycle. Okay, so we need to start with that reality check. Now, I started my career in traditional finance right in 2008. I remember when I first started investment banking, I walked straight into a recessionary environment with major managing directors being called into offices and leaving with their box filled. Yes, it was a reality check, and I started off my career learning these things because when I started, it was a deep financial crisis and recession. So let's get straight into it. And my first tip is going to be to pay off debts and margin. If any of you have been watching my content for a while, you guys know this is not just huge for me in a recession. This is huge for me as a staple of my investing. I stay away from debts and I do not margin. Now, some of you in a bull market find yourself getting into debt, find yourself getting into a margin. Everything's so exciting. Things are moving quickly. You take out a bit of debt because you want to jump into the latest coin. And suddenly it starts building out of control, and now you're facing a reversal in the market where we could be heading into a deep, painful recession, and you've still got exposure to this margin. So my first tip is get that out of the way. Whatever you need to do to pay off that debt and get away from that margin, do so. Make it your number one priority going into 2023 to eliminate that debt and margin. If you think things are bad already, wait till the actual recession starts. And again, I'm going to pull up the stats here so you can see it. The 2008 to 2010 crisis lasted almost 2 years. It was a deep, painful recession. So you cannot compare it to the technical recession we had in the pandemic. These proper recessions in the boom and bust cycles can last into 2024. This could be the middle of 2024 before you come out and emerge from the other side of this recession. So if you think you're just going to avoid it and I'm going to be fine, no. Tackle your debts, stay out of margin if you're not in margin already. If you're already in margin, unwind it as soon as possible. My next tip is one you've probably all heard of, and that is to cut your costs. Now, think of a recession in terms of an investing environment very similar to how you would run a household. If you're running your household going into a recession and you're still lavishly spending, you're buying fancy cars, you're going on this holiday, you're doing all this sort of stuff, your household is going to be in a bit of a bother. You need to match your incomes to your expenses. And when you're heading towards a recession, you need to be prepared for turbulent times. So my biggest advice going into 2023 with this impending recession looming is to make sure you're minimizing those costs, right? If we're in a recession, we've not seen one for 14 years, it's okay to just sit back, scale back and say, you know what, 2023 is not the year to really be going and buying the most expensive car I've ever thought I wanted, or going and splurging on a new holiday, particularly that's out out of the norm of reasonable or anything else, right? Getting that dream house, it can wait till after the recession, okay? So that's really, really important, is cut those costs, minimize it, and streamline your day to day. Now, by no means am I saying become this super frugal person who cannot enjoy life, doesn't do anything, and becomes a proper Scrooge, right? That's not what we want. But what we are saying is just streamline on some of those extra superfluous expenses which really didn't need to make it into your expenses. And you're going to find out why that's important as I progress through the next tips. The next thing we want to do is bolster our income. So whilst we're cutting costs on one side, we want to figure out how to bring in as much income as we can. Now, I know normally you're going to want to do this anyway, even in a bull market, but particularly in a recession, do not snub those small opportunities which are going to allow you to bring in that little bit extra more income each month. If you want tips on how to do that, I've made a separate video with my top 5 side hustles which are crypto specific that's going to help you bring in a little more extra income through 2023. But this is really important. You've got to be able to bring in extra cash, and this is something which frustrates me because a lot of successful crypto YouTubers and personalities will never explain to you that the reason they're able to be so successful in crypto and investing is because they have their streams of income right. And you've seen me stress this time and time again on this channel. You've got to figure out your streams of income. What are your streams of income? Is it a business? Is it a startup? Is it the job you have? Is it consultancy? What is it that's bringing you cash that's allowing you to invest in crypto? The reason I'm able to be more successful in crypto to somebody who makes the exact same trading and investment purchases that I do. I can give you the exact same trades that I'm doing. I can give you the exact same coins that I'm going to invest in 2023, right? But there's still going to be a difference. And the difference is you may be investing money which you need. You may have put your final 10 grand into the crypto that I've shared with you, right? And you need it back in 3 months to pay rent. Whereas I can put it in knowing I don't need to touch it for years. I can play the long game. I can believe in projects. I can look at the conviction levels. I can take out the peaks and troughs and just smooth it out to get a smooth line. Say, you know what? I'm in this for years, not 2 months because I need to take my 10 grand back out to then pay rent. Very important difference. It's important that you figure out your streams of income. Please do not neglect this point. I know it's not, I know a lot of people are like, no, I just want to trade. If trading is the way you want to build your income, that's a successful way of building your income. But it's very difficult to become a consistent, profitable trader. So if you want to do that, take it seriously. Start off with my free TA course, ijaz.uk/TA. If you find that you're picking it up quite quickly and that it's something you want to do, then start practicing some trading with some real life money. Practice with your lunch money. That's always my first tip. But that's a great way of you building some income as well. Now for the important tip, and that is stack, stack, stack. Yeah, we want to stack dry powder. Super important, not the type of powder you're thinking. I'm talking about cold, hard cash. I learned this lesson from my mentor's mentor. Yes, I remember my business mentor saying to me that his mentor told him that in a recession, what should I do? He asked his mentor, and his mentor said to him, sit on your hands. What do you mean by that? Do nothing. Do nothing. Let the tide pass and sit on your hand. And I love this tip. This is a super important tip. And whenever I think recession, that is exactly what I think. I want to sit on my hand while everybody else is panicking on the one side that things are going to go super down. And then when you get those fake little recoveries and everybody throws themselves back in the market, I'm going to let them do that. And I'm going to let them shake themselves out to the upside and downside. I'm going to sit on my hands and I'm going to stack cash. Stack cash, stack dry powder. The people who are able to make the best of any recession, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate, whether it's crypto, are those who are able to have cash when everybody else has no cash left. And here's the thing, this crypto market has been falling since November 2021. We are already 13 months into this bear market on crypto. Now, believe me when I say the majority of people have already dollar cost average. They bought the dip of the dip of the dip of the dip. They have no cash left. So the single thing which is going to allow you to build more sustainable wealth is by ensuring you have more cash to buy the dip. And that is why the previous 2 points are really important. Cut your costs, bolster your income, and hopefully you should have some cream at the top that then allows you to invest in a long-term belief in crypto. Something which you can put it away and say, you know what, I'm not going to look at this until 2024, the end of 2024. Because I know we're going through a turbulent period, but every little dip buy I'm able to do now is going to pay huge dividends once we're on the other side of this recession and we can start moving forward. For those that aren't experienced with what a recession looks like, what will the end look like? Well, it's going to be the complete contrast of right now. You imagine where we're at right now. The whole investment environment is preparing for a recession. Risk is hugely off. The Fed is trying to fight inflation. The Fed is not your friend. They're increasing interest rates. They're hoovering up any excess money from the economy. Once you've been in a sustained financial crisis, once you've been in a recession for 12 to 18 months, and you've been in a deep financial crisis similar to 2008, 2009, do you think the Fed stance is going to be the same? No. The Fed will have to U-turn. The Fed will have to pause rate hikes. They'd have to eventually cut rate hikes, and they'd have to eventually print again, just like they had to do in March 2020 during the pandemic. And so at that moment, the fear and greed will rotate. Investors' appetite will turn from risk off to risk on. And guess what that means? Every single crypto is going to demand a higher price point. Everything is going to get started to bid up. So you're at peak fear right now, and fear is going to continue into this recession. But once the recession is in full swing, once it starts to show signs of green shoots of recovery, and then the Fed thinking about printing again, the prices will rotate, risk will rotate back on. So you need to be able to navigate this period here and have the spare cash now, which is the conundrum. Because most people in a recession don't have spare cash. Either they're not earning enough, or they've already bought the dip and they've literally got nothing left and they've got no way of bringing other income in. So you've got to stack that dry powder. And last but not least, you need to eliminate the low conviction plays. Now this point is something which I've held as a point throughout 2022. In fact, when we started falling from November 2021, I was making videos and talking to our members about the need to eliminate any low conviction holds. When we were falling from 69, I was preparing everybody for lower prices, and I was saying, guys, if you have any plays right now which you even have a shadow of doubt about your conviction, you do not want to hold, or potentially you do not want to hold that coin for more than a year or 2 years, you need to be asking yourself whether you should be holding that coin right now. And that is my thing for a recession. Make sure there's nothing in your portfolio which is not strong, bold, and ready. Something you're willing to hold through into 2024. And if there are plays in there, and it's normal, during a bull market, everybody accumulates those random projects, because remember, you could have bought anything and it was doing well during a bull market. Maybe you've got a couple of meme coins, maybe you've got too many low caps, maybe you're not diversified well enough in your portfolio. You still got time to get this right before the recession. You've got to get this right, and burying your head in the sand is not going to solve this problem. Draw out your portfolio, make sure in that portfolio you've only got projects which can stand the test of time and you believe they can navigate through a deep recession. And remember, crypto has not been through this deep financial crisis before, okay? It was in its early nascent days back in 2008, 2009. So this is the first major recession and global crisis that crypto will be navigating through. So it's important that you stay focused on your larger high conviction plays. Holding these small caps and meme coins could be a recipe for disaster. So there you have it, guys. Those are my tips for navigating the 2023, potentially 2024 recession. Look, recessions are not easy, but they are simple. We've seen the history of patterns of what happens in recessions. We know how they typically start and how they typically end, and we know the formula, as I've just shared with you, for how to navigate it. The one major difference is going to be how you manage your psychology and the accountability you take to follow these steps. If you follow these steps, if you eliminate margin, if you cut costs, if you bolster your income, if you eliminate low conviction plays, it's very difficult for you not to emerge from the recession in a really good, healthy place. And on the converse, those who struggle will be those who do exactly the opposite, right? They continue to go into the recession gung-ho, ignoring all the macroeconomic trends, keeping their debt and leverage high. They don't cut their costs. In fact, they start splurging. Maybe they go buy their dream car, they go on a dream holiday, they move house into a house which is slightly stretching them the wrong direction. They don't think about taking that extra consultancy client to bolster their income. They still have their meme coins which they've just not sold, hoping that a certain meme coin is just going to revive like a phoenix, which it may do, but it's not a prudent investment decision for a recession. So for me, a recession starts with being pragmatic. It starts by being introspective and looking at your portfolio, looking at your psychology and saying, what do I need to do? I know the blueprint. What's stopping me from doing it? Why am I procrastinating? And then getting to work and treating crypto as a professional. And when you start to do that, there's very little chance of you messing up through this recession, and you're gonna make it. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to smash up likes. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to go see how to bolster your income in 2023 through a recession, check out these 5 crypto side hustles which I've outlined here for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.